It was time to head inland for a little fishing and evening kayaking.
You know what? Lake Huron's not the only place to have fun on the water. We're out just a few miles outside of town at what's called Tawas Lake. It's a smaller lake, it's weedy, looks like a good spot for kayaks and canoes and maybe some small boats. But we're going to find out for sure because we're going out there to explore. Right now we got to get these kayaks off, so we'll see you on the water.
Filled with excitement, we wanted to get onto the lake. It was a beautiful evening and so quiet that the only sounds you heard were the birds and the fish jumping. We were told that Tawas Lake was one of the area hotspots for panfish and pike fishing. Tawas Lake is very popular with local bird and wildlife enthusiasts as well.
We got out on the lake here. It's a little bit bigger lake than what I expected when I was just looking back from the boat launch. You couldn't see a lot from there. One thing's for sure, it's quite shallow. I can see down to the bottom. It's only a couple of feet, at least down to the weed tops. Now, it's probably a lot of mud, and the weeds could be fairly thick too. But it's still fairly is shallow from the weeds to the surface, and it's that way everywhere so far. I do see some bigger boats out here along the shoreline, and that's the nice thing about this, because there's only one shoreline that has anything on it, a few houses, and everything else is just forest and swamp and nobody around.
As we moved farther into the lake, a slight chop developed on the water, so it was time to head back into the reeds that had canals cut through it.
This is one of the great things about being in a kayak and coming out to an area like this to explore. We were going along through these reeds and it looked just like a thick bed of them. You couldn't even see into it. We were working our way along the shoreline where it was still fairly clear, and now all of a sudden I seen this channel that went right into the reeds, so we said, heck, let's go in, let's take a look. Pretty wild in here. It was just down the way, a nice fish just jumped out of the water. It's still pretty shallow back in here, but evidently it is holding some fish, and it's a lot of fun just to sneak on through these reeds. You never know what you're going to see.
All the way along, fish were jumping and swimming under the boat. That is, until a lure was dropped down, and then it was back to silence. Oh well, it sure is nice being out here. Another gem close to home.